I've got my notes here. Rob, your microphone is sounding fine.
Good, I'm good.
Aaron, yours is okay as well. Excellent. Cool. Just waiting for Caleb to appear.
I think he'll be here sooner or later.
It's getting a bit late. I think he's a bit late.
Oh! Merry Christmas, everyone!
Merry Christmas. Who are you?
Wow!
Oh, isn't it obvious? It's me, Santa!
Santa?
Why, yes!
What can we do for you?
I heard there was going to be a gathering here today, so I stopped by to say hello to all the good lads from the DreamPod podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Let's just see who's here today.
This is amazing.
Oh, there's Rob. Oh, Rob, you've been such a good boy this year.
Yay!
Oh, and look, it's Gargaman. Oh, what a good artist you are, bringing joy to everybody on the internet.
Bless you, Santa.
Oh, and Tom. Yeah. I've been looking over my list. I'm afraid you've been very bad.
What?
Typical.
I'm afraid that you've been ignoring Sega corporate copyrights.
I can only apologize.
Well, when you understand that respecting intellectual properties is a fundamental of capitalism. Oh, I'm afraid there's going to be nothing under the tree this year, Tom.
Same as every year.
Except maybe a letter.
Oh. Well, for the rest of you, though, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year! Goodbye!
This is a Dreamcast disc and is for use only on a Dreamcast unit. Playing this disc on a hi-fi or other audio equipment can cause serious damage to its speakers.
Dreamcast, up to 6 billion players.
Welcome back to the stage of history.
Why don't we play together?
Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here we go!
Please stop this disc now.
Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the Dreamcast Junkyard DreamPod. My name is Tom and I'm joined by my festive Christmas elves. I've got Rob.
Hello!
Oh, that was a bit odd. Aaron, the Gagaman Foster.
Hello.
And joining us all the way from very festive upstate New York, we have Caleb.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Not bad at all, thank you. Guys, it's almost Christmas. Are we feeling festive?
Yes,
I certainly am, yeah. Yeah, again, guys, I gotta say again, I'm sorry for being late. I hope I didn't miss anything.
We actually had a guest appearance from Santa Claus. He mentioned something that we'll speak about later on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. You'll be. I think you'll be quite interested in this, actually, Caleb. What you mentioned. Anyway, should we crack on and talk about things that we've been playing or things that we've bought in the last couple of weeks since we did our last episode? I'm going to start with you, Aaron. Have you been playing anything?
Yeah. I know we're going to be talking about this a bit later on, but as soon as Rez was announced for the PlayStation VR, pretty much minutes after I saw the trailer, I just had to whack the disc in and play it.
Yeah.
On the Dreamcast.
Hey, speaking of that, I hate to interrupt, but did anybody actually download the I believe it's called the K-Res? The one that has the debugging software right on there.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think you have to use the keyboard to turn the debugging software off, and it's got like slightly different music and stuff.
It's got completely different songs in some cases.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, K-Res, is that something for the Dreamcast or the PC? I don't know what it is, to be honest.
Dreamcast, it's a beta disc that someone leaked somehow. So obviously I was playing Res for quite a while, and I never actually realised there's like another mode in the game. Like I've always just played the normal play mode, but there's a mode called Beyond, which is kind of like an arcade mode where you pretty much just get one chance to go through a bunch of levels. And there's actually a few like unique levels in there which I didn't even know existed. So I ended up playing the game for quite a few hours. So I've only ever actually managed to beat the main like story mode once. I tried again like this week and I got right to the final boss, and as usual it just absolutely pummeled me. I managed to level up my character right up to the like the baby or whatever it is, like the final level. But once I get to that final boss, like it just completely obliterates me every time. There's just this one section where they just shoot thousands of missiles at you, and I just don't know what to do. And I managed to do it once before, but like this time I got the bad end again.
I've got to be honest, I've never actually completed it because I'm rubbish at games, generally as a rule. And I've only seen the whole game because when we had it at Play Expo Manchester a few months ago, Martin is absolutely brilliant at Res. And he just he completely like owned the game about 3 times, one after like in succession.
Yeah, he killed it, man.
Yeah, so
awesome.
I mean, we had a lot of people just standing there watching him play it, which was quite cool, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm no good at Res. I'm crap. Yeah. Anything else?
Other than that, on other consoles, I've been playing a game on Steam called I don't know how to really word it, but the game's literally called for the Awesome. That's the actual name. If you're on Steam and you've got me on my friend list, you'll keep seeing in the week Aaron is playing It's literally just loads of A's. But basically it's a free falling score attack game where you're like falling through the sky and there's like all these floating buildings.
Is that a sequel to another game with a similar name?
Yeah, there's 2 of them. I think it's like an updated version of it, but it's got a very similar name. I think it's pretty much the same name, just a different subtitle.
It's a prequel called Zero. No, sorry.
Something like that. But yeah, basically it's like a free-falling score attack game where you basically have to brush past buildings as you're free-falling and you parachute to the end. And it's actually really addictive. When you're like going past buildings, they call it kisses and they give you 1,000 points. And if you're like close to buildings while you're falling past them, you get like this beeping noise and every one of them's worth like 100 points and they're called hugs. So basically you're just falling trying to get hugs and kisses. And then there's like protesters that you have to flip off, give the bird.
Sounds weird.
And it's very odd, but it's kind of addictive in a kind of Nights into Dreams kind of way where, you know, you're just trying to get your best score on each level.
Yeah. Where I grew up, kissing the pavement's not a good thing. you don't want to do that.
Another really funny thing that's actually a little bit Dreamcast related about it is there's all these little tips on like the level select, and when you click on them, it just gives you some random weird quote of some kind. But every one of them, you click on it, and there's a voice that goes, "Does anyone know where I can find some sailors? Hey, mister, want to wrestle?" Just random Shenmue quote out of nowhere, just in the middle of the game for some reason. And every time you click on it, it comes up. It's not like the original voices from Shenmue. It's just like re-recorded. But yeah, that's just there.
As a quick side note, while we're talking briefly about Shenmue, did you see the video that Adam Korolik put up with him and Corey Marshall lying on a bed?
I saw
the thumbnail.
Yeah, I saw the thumbnail as well. They look very comfortable and intimate on that bed.
Cool. All right. How about you, Caleb? What have you been up to?
Well, I have run up zero with the Dreamcast stuff. I had a couple of heartbreaking eBay auctions. So no, ever since I got that copy of Giant Graham 2000, I have not had any sort of online shopping for Dreamcast stuff. And of course, around here there is no Dreamcast stuff in any of the shops. So yeah, I did my first crack at Pier Solar, and you know that game's really fun. Got a lot of neat visuals in it, and an interesting little RPG. At first glance, it kind of looks like it looks like it might be Chrono Trigger, but no, it's just the traditional Final Fantasy style battles and stuff. And it's got the little circle ring that's reminiscent of some of the now I always forget the name of that. The circle ring inventory from the games, and then it just blank in my head. There was many of them that had that, but I'm thinking of a certain one, and I cannot come up with it.
Is it Turok 2?
No. a lot of the first-person shooters like Tomb Raider and Turok had the circle ring thing too, but this is it looks specifically almost exactly like the ones from a game that I cannot remember the name of it. Anyways, yeah, it's a very interesting game. Very happy to get it. In other news, I've been, just dicking around with the new beta of Don't Starve Shipwrecked, which is an amazing game. It's those games keeps on coming up with new ways to kill me, which is great. So, I thought I had everything situated, and boy, there's certain ways where you can just crash in the middle of the ocean and die horribly. So, yeah, it's very interesting. I really hope that Cappy's doing that one, so they're still working on the Don't Starve Together game, so I hope one of these days when that has a final release, we can all play that together, and that'll be interesting. And other than that, I have been swamped a little bit. That's why there hasn't been that many videos, because I had to work overtime, and oh god. I had to do a thing for Minions, and my God, I'm sick of that.
God.
You have to dress up as a minion, did you?
I did a movie. We have a movie license at the place where I work, so I had to do a showing of Minions, and my God, that place was just full. And it's like, oh boy,
was it double billed with Frozen?
No. I mean, I did Frozen had a big thing too, but this was actually bigger. We show really nice movies, but yeah, boy, of course, Minions is going to be the most popular one of the year. So that's what I've been doing.
And what about yourself, Rob?
Yeah, it's been quite a good sort of week and a bit for me in terms of games.
Are you out of the desert?
I'm out of the desert. It's funny. As Aaron said, as soon as the Res bombshell, it sort of pushed me. It was like finally someone putting the gun to the back of my head. I'd been dallying around with Res on Dreamcast for a fair few months, because I don't own a copy, and I really wanted a copy, but it was one of those games where the price was constantly preventing me from pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
But as soon as the Sony event happened, I was like, you got to do it now, because if you don't do it now, you're never going to pick this up, basically, because the price will just keep increasing exponentially now.
Yeah, it'll be Shenmue all over again, won't it?
It's going to be Shenmue all over again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I immediately went and bought Res. I've still not got it, but it is on its way to me. And I have played Res before, so it's going to be very satisfying to get that back in the system.
Rob, is it the PAL version or the Japanese one?
It is the PAL version.
Nice.
Okay, I have the Japanese one.
Yeah, so have I, because the PAL one is just kind of, it's out of my price range. But the Japanese one I got from a guy who is on Twitter as the Retro Hunter. I don't know if you know him, Ali Hogg. He's quite sort of well known in the retro collecting circles that I move in, and he sold me the Japanese version. In fact, I think it was like something like a tenner or something, so that was really good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good price.
Yeah, so
I knew that the Japanese version was cheaper, but again, from what I was seeing, maybe I was getting unlucky on eBay, but it was always like around 30 notes for the Japanese version, and I ended up picking up this PAL version for just over 40. So,
wow, that's really good.
That is good.
Oh yeah, I mean,
compared to what I've seen it for, yeah.
I really want
$40 American dollars. That's good. That's a good price.
I wish it was $40 American dollars. Holy moly! $40 American dollars is the actual price I would like to pay for Res. So I've kind of paid almost twice the amount of money than I was really prepared to. I mean, maybe that was me being cruel on the game, because it is obviously very good. It's just not my bag normally. Normally those sort of games aren't my bag, but I was it was really ever since play. It was funny you mentioned just watching Martin kill Res, and the soundtrack was amazing, and I thought, I need to get me that, because I love those sort of quality, sort of really pumping soundtracks, and I was like, Res was good, and it is worth the money. So finally I've gone and done that. So I'm out of the desert on Dreamcast, which is fabulous.
Fantastic.
A couple of other additions. Still on Saturn, I picked up Groove on Fight.
Ooh, now that's a game that I got when I bought my when I got the thrift store PS1 that was all like modded out and stuff. That was one of the games that was one of the burnt games for it, and I've been trying to find, and it does not work properly. And I've been trying to get that on Saturn for a long time.
Yeah, I've got a copy of that knocking around. I've had that for a few years.
Before you carry on and tell us a little bit about it, right? My only experience with this game is that I read a review of it in I think it was the official Sega Saturn magazine, and they ripped it to bits and said it was horrendous. So what's your opinion?
Right, first of all, asterisks. I haven't really played it too much. I've only had it a couple of days, and I've been pretty busy. However, I would say that I bought this basically because of Atlas. I looked at, I like Atlas very much, and I went, oh, Atlas made this fighter, and I love the aesthetics look really, really cool and a bit different. And as with Atlas and most of their games, the soundtrack seemed to be, or the music, the background music seemed to be pretty funky. It was like, I love my versus fighters, and I thought this was something a bit different. In terms of the gameplay, though, I've got to say, how can I describe it? It's really stiff. Like, it doesn't feel like a premium fighter. Like, if you think of the fluidity of chaining moves in some of the better franchises, like how fluid it is to pull off combos and specials in, say, I don't know, Street Fighter or King of Fighters, it's very smooth. You feel like you're always in command, and there's no overrun. I don't know what the technical phrase is, where you input commands and there's a delay in terms of like an animation delay. You know, you might.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You execute a command and then the character does it, but it's almost as if it's slightly off. The animation is slightly slower than you'd like it to be, so the character ends up, actually actioning the movement well after you've inputted the input into the controls. So it's not very smooth, very stiff. That's how I describe the fighting. And in terms of the combat mechanics, it is nothing to write home about at all. And I can kind of see why Atlas. Well, I haven't really read up on their library, so to speak, versus Fighters, but they didn't really make many more, right?
I think Groove on Fight is actually technically a sequel to the Power Instinct series.
Oh, right.
Which was by, I think it was Data East or someone else. I think it's technically them working on a sequel to another company's franchise.
Oh, right. Maybe that explained it then. You get the cool visuals, you get the funky music because it's Atlas, but cool game, yeah. I'm not sold, but I don't know. It's a curiosity.
I thought it was all right.
It's okay, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sticking it to it.
It's not a classic by any means.
No, it's not a classic.
But it's interesting. Yeah.
Good name though.
Groove on Fight. Yeah. What a great name. That you're spot on, Tom, and it's that little different thing. That's what I look for now when I'm collecting, certainly in shmup genre and in versus fighter genre, is something a little bit different, because you guys, you've probably played vast majority of the core games in those genres, and once you've done that, you're always looking for something different. And when I saw this, I thought it was something different, and it is. It's just not. It is, as Aaron says, it's not a classic. Last thing, because I know I'm taking up stupid amount of time. I got Fast Racing Neo on Wii U.
Ah, okay.
Martin, again, let's name drop him. He basically he was like, Fast Racing Neo is really cool. It's like F-Zero X, basically, with a bit of hype out visuals thrown in. It's on Wii U. It's tenner, blah blah blah. It's worth pick up. I hadn't heard anything about it. I dropped the money, and it's of all the F-Zeros, I'd say it plays closer to F-Zero X than any of the others. So it feels like F-Zero X, but it looks like Wipeout. Done.
It's got a bit of an Ikaruga taste to it as well, hasn't it? Because it's got that like changing colours to go through boost thing going on.
Ikaruga. Yeah, the polarity shifting thing is there, yes, from Ikaruga.
That's the words I was looking for.
You shift the polarity of the ship depending on which sort of fast strips or gates you're running through. If you're in the wrong polarity, it slows you down, basically. And it's really straightforward. Like, it's not going to be the longest game in the world. I've not finished it yet, but I've motored through it quite quickly in a couple of days. And if you like your speed, I've got to say, guys, like, it's been since F-Zero that I've really experienced a game that was this fast. When you are really gunning it, hit a boost, then you boost yourself, it is like eyes in the back of your skull type.
No, I've heard good things about it.
Last thing I'll say, the only problem is, because I know this is a Dreamcast podcast, because it's on the Wii U, I don't know if it's because the Wii U's not powerful enough, there's serious aliasing issues. So when you're really gunning it, the entire screen sort of smudges together in a blur, and while you can still see what's going on, it removes depth from the image. So you've really got to be like sort of like on the money in terms of looking for obstacles coming up, because there's no depth. So your eyes are like, there's that thing's well in the distance, and then suddenly you're like, oh no, man, it's like.
And then you just smack it.
Derailed myself straight into it and burnt up horribly. So anyway, that's me. Let's move on.
Sounds good. I'll just quickly run through what I've been playing on the Dreamcast. I've been playing a game called Arabian Nights: Prince of Persia. You might have seen that. I put an article up about it on the Junkyard main site. Yeah, I'd never played it before, and I'd heard that it was terrible, and I played it, and it's actually not as bad as I was initially led to believe. So that was quite cool. I actually prefer it to all of the Tomb Raider games I played on the Dreamcast.
Just for people who haven't seen, might not have seen that, what's it closest to in terms of other games?
Like I say, it's probably closest to Tomb Raider, like Last Revelation or something like that. Or Chronicles. It's a 3D action adventure. Imagine Prince of Persia in 3D. It's full of instant death situations where you're just like, oh, pick this up. Oh, wait a minute, I've just been crushed by a rock I didn't know was going to come and crush me. Stuff like that, it's really annoying, but helpfully you do get quite a lot of save points throughout the levels. So it's just a case of reloading and going, right, trial and error, basically.
When did they redo the Prince of Persia with the time-travelling rewind mechanics?
PS2, wasn't it?
Yeah, PS2 GameCube era, with Sands of Time.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so this one came out before that, obviously, but it's like seen as like the final game in the original Prince of Persia trilogy.
Oh,
so
right.
Prince of Persia 2, and then Prince of Persia Arabian Nights.
Did the original chap have anything to do with this then?
I couldn't say anything about the development of it or anything like that. I mean, the game, it didn't get a release in PAL territories. It was only a US release, so that's why I've never played it up until now. I knew it existed, but I just never really thought to investigate because I thought, I heard that it was crap, but it's actually not. And I will say that it's not an original copy. It's a bootleg, basically, that a guy called Martin, who does the reproduction versions in the Blu-ray cases. He's on Facebook.
Yeah,
he does those, and he sent them to me out of the blue, which was really nice of him. Another game he sent me was Mars Matrix, which is a game that is out of my price range.
That is my favourite shmup on the whole system. I love that game. Yes.
I'd never played it before, just because the price is prohibitive. And he sent me a bootleg version of it, and yeah, it's really good. I'm really impressed with it. So that's all I've been playing really on the Dreamcast. Otherwise, I've been playing on the PS4, and the Vita. I've been playing WRC 5 on the Vita. Fucking hell. WRC 5. These are Vita, PS4, PS2. No. Right, I've been playing WRC 5 on the PlayStation 4. I've also been playing a game called Riptide GP2 on the PS4, which is like a downloadable game that cost me like £2.50 or something. And imagine Hydro Thunder crossed with Wave Race, crossed with Extreme G, crossed with Wipeout or something like that. It's like a futuristic jet ski game, and it's absolutely brilliant. It looks like a really high-res iOS game, so it's not amazingly good looking, but it's so much fun, and the soundtrack is just brilliant. Do you remember that really cheesy DJ guy called Bass Hunter from a few years ago? All of the tunes are like Bass Hunter songs. It's just like they're just pounding like techno crap, and it's just it fits it so well. It's brilliant. It cost me £2.50, something like that. The other game is a game called Rocket Birds Hard Boiled Chicken.
Oh, I think I've played a demo of that.
I've been playing that on the Vita. It is cross-buy on the Vita and the PS4, but I've mainly been playing it on the Vita. And imagine a mixture between Metal Slug and Luftrausers.
Wow. That's quite high praise. That's quite high praise right there.
Yeah, it's just this brilliant like side-on 2D like Metal Slug style platform shooter, and then you get these intermittent like levels where you can fly around on your rocket pack, and it turns into a bit of a shmup. And it's phenomenally good. I can't believe it they're giving it away for free on PSN like this month's PSN free games. But yeah, that's what I've been doing on the Vita and the PS4, 5, 8, 9, 10 or whatever they are. Anyway, guys, let's move on. One thing I just wanted to quickly mention before we go into our first proper topic is I had a message on the Facebook group from a guy called Joe Douglas. This is going back to something that Caleb was talking about earlier on with Pier Solar. He said that he had the Mega Drive version from Watermelon and his Mega Drive broke, and he then went and asked Watermelon if there was like a ROM of the game so he could play it, through emulation. He basically got told no, and his only option is to rebuy the game again, like for what he says is going to be $70 Australian. As you can imagine, he doesn't think that's entirely fair. So he asked, do we think that if you buy a game that you should have access to the ROM as well?
I think there should be a return policy of some sort where you can send them your game and they clearly see that it's broken game and they can send you another one. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you should be able to have access to a ROM just because you buy a physical copy of the game. Now, if you want to go through the work yourself if you want to actually create a ROM from a physical game, I don't think there's anything that should be able to stop you from doing that. Because it's your own property, you can do what you want with it. But there's the people that actually make the game are under no onus whatsoever to actually provide you with a ROM of the game. Because that's very unfair to them, considering how much money it costs to produce those carts, and how much business they might potentially lose if ROMs are just available for people to have.
Yeah, because if in that sense, if a ROM was available, then who's to say that the person getting the ROM just couldn't put it online?
I'm surprised that he didn't talk to Watermelon Games and say okay, so can I just get an RMA? Can I send you with my own cost? can I send you the broken cart so you can see that it's a broken cart, and then you might provide me with if they have it in stock, if they could just provide me with another cart, that'd be. I would see that might be
repair
okay.
one that he sends. I don't know if that's possible.
Well, it might be that there's no repair to it, but there's the other case too where I don't know. Maybe this is one of the first ones, and it's been several years. In which case, there's always a limit on that. No matter how great the company is, there's always, once like a certain number of years have gone by, people just don't provide that. And that's just the way electronics work, unfortunately.
Especially when you're an independent company that, just making them off their own back and that kind of thing anyway. Watermelon are hardly a big company.
I didn't want to dwell too long on this. It was just a quick thing I wanted to input because he sent me a message on Facebook. Joe, he writes for Retro Collect, and he did quite an interesting piece about Sega World in Australia. So it's worth checking that out as well on retrocollect.com. So we'll move on to the next subject on the agenda, and this is something that Rob asked me to include, and that is just a bit of fun because we're getting up to Christmas now. If there's one Dreamcast item that you could have, money is no object, for Christmas, what would it be? I'm going to start with my own choice, and that would be a Divers 2000. I've wanted one for ages.
Nice.
Snap.
The chance of me getting one is probably very, very slim. But yeah, that's mine. And obviously yours as well, Aaron.
Yeah.
Rob, what about you?
I don't know. That's quite grand. I probably should have thought bigger. I just wanted Radergy, the vertical scrolling shmup.
Come on, Rob. Money's no object here.
I thought it wanted to be sort of, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'd love a copy of that, but £80 to £100 is too much.
What about you, Caleb? If you opened a door on your Dreamcast advent calendar and something fell out, what would you want it to be?
I would probably say the Resident Evil Japanese version Dreamcast.
Nice. Yeah.
Blue one or the other?
The reddish one.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
See, there's that many like desirable unobtainium style items, like the Gundam.
Hey, Caleb, wait a second. I see your Christmas list right here. You don't have the Resident Evil one. You've written down quite clearly that you're asking for the Hello Kitty Dreamcast.
Santa, no! Santa, no! Don't tell them that. They'll make fun of me. Go away. You always do
I love the way
this.
that Caleb is constantly plagued by like Jesse Ventura or Santa or these other random.
Nobody else ever has to deal with this. It's not fair.
Maybe Santa's maybe the list is confused because I've said before on this podcast that Hello Kitty, damn, I'd like that console.
Yeah, he probably just made a mistake, and it was Rob who wrote that down.
Yeah. Also, again, moving on slightly, I just wanted to give a quick mention to the fact that we are now 10 years old as a community and a destination on the internet. I always kind of like hesitate to use the word site because it is technically a blog, the Dreamcast Junkyard, but it's 10 years since we started doing this now, and I mean, Aaron and Caleb.
Yeah, this is the year that we take the Dreamcast Junkyard out into the woods and have them kill their first deer.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not very up on like Jewish culture, but what age is it that you have a bar mitzvah? Is it 13?
It's 13.
Yeah, so we'll get a bar mitzvah going as well in in a couple of years' time. So there's that to look forward to. So yeah, happy birthday to us, and thanks to everybody who continues to visit the site, blog, and the Facebook page and group. Because without you guys listening to this, it wouldn't be anything really. So yeah, thank you.
I'd even dare to say that thanks to like the Facebook page and all that, I actually kind of think Dreamcast Junkyard is bigger now than it's ever been, which is really exciting.
Yeah,
considering really cool. How old it is.
Yeah, I mean we've been there, I've seen a lot of Dreamcast blogs and sites come and go over the years, and we've kind of been there,
including mine.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the Sega CD Junkyard. The boy, that really had some legs until I stopped doing it after the third post. Man, what a rip-off that was. Caleb 9 years ago, what were you thinking? Come on.
No, but seriously, I think Aaron's hit the nail on the head. I think it is You say if it's a blog or a site, and I think it's definitely in a site, and I think what makes it so is that community that is so it's growing now. It's so vibrant, you know. There's so much going on every single day on the Facebook group and on the site as well. So
yeah, absolutely, never stops. Really,
it is definitely not a blog. It's it is. Come on, it's the world's #1 Dreamcast website.
Well, according to Google search, #2 just underneath Dreamcast scene, I believe.
Oh, is it? cheers, Aaron. Get that one quiet, you know.
We're getting there.
I'll bleep that out in the edit. Let's move on again. Something we briefly touched on earlier. Probably too much, actually, to actually warrant this to be its own section, is that Res is going to the PS4 with VR support. You probably already know what we think collectively. I think it's going to be pretty good. I listened to I think it was either the Giant Bombcast or the Beastcast, one of the two. I know they're from the same website.
Yeah, Giant Bombcast, that would be, yeah.
They spoke about, obviously they are professionals and they got the chance to use the VR headset with Res and all signs point to it being pretty phenomenal.
There's a couple videos on YouTube of them playing it, so you can actually see. You know when they showed it on stage and they had the creator of Res on stage with that big light up, fully vibrating suit that he was wearing? They actually got to wear that as well. So they were playing the game with this suit that vibrates your entire body.
Can I say something about that suit? I watched that exact same video, and have you noticed? Like, I could totally understand it. I mean, it looks an amazing addition, right? But did you notice how it's like vibrating pads on the arms, on the legs, like on the chest, and then there seemed to be a massive one on the crotch? They know what they're doing. Res has that effect.
Yeah. I mean, this is the same game that came out on the PS2 with just a straight up vibrator.
As in like a sex toy vibrator, or
no, it was just like a little thing that connects into the PS2 that just rumbles.
Oh right, because people keep saying it comes with a vibrator, and I'm thinking of like a dildo or something.
Well, it's not exactly a dildo, but it may as well just be a basic vibrator. Even the way there was like a Japanese commercial for it where they just have like these two guys with just their pants on sweating while they're holding a vibrator. It's just weird.
I need to Google this. It just doesn't.
Yeah, you have to see that commercial.
Yeah, I know some people have done tests on that. So basically, do you know if this version is going to have the same thing that the 360 version had, where you can get like a bunch of controllers and they all like kind of vibrate?
Oh yeah, that was another thing they did, wasn't it? Because
yeah, they had like you could plug in like 5 controllers, and then potentially just strap them on different parts of your body.
I think it was. I think it was in that giant. It's on the Bombcast. I think Jeff was talking about it because he's the one who got in the suit. But one of the PR chaps was saying, so this suit, like how much would you pay extra if this suit could become a reality? And he was a bit sort of like, well, maybe $100, maybe a tad more. And what do you guys think? Would you pay money for that suit? Do you think the VR is enough, or do you think that suit and the VR is really what would take it to the next level?
I felt. Let me just tell you a personal anecdote. There was a time when the huge fake DJ thing for DJ Hero 2 came out, and I took that home and I saw that gigantic box sitting in the corner of my room, and I said, Caleb, this is where you got to draw the line. And I went and I returned it because I just can't. And then to that thing is going to be hanging up in your closet, It's like
this is my
you could have gone on dates with it.
Just ignore that.
I mean, it's like, speaking of, that's a great thing. You see this girl comes into my townhouse and she sees this gimp suit thing hanging on the wall. She's like, what's that?
You should just say, the crotch vibrates.
Ignore these stains on the.
Hey, you wanna come back to my place? And you can try out my vibrating suit. I got a vibrating suit you can try out.
Seriously though, from a VR point of view, I mean, like the closest I suppose I can say that I've experienced it is when I played TXK at Play Expo with the Oculus Rift on, and that really did take basically it's TXK's Tempest, and that basically did take it to a new level. It was amazing. It was very immersive, and for what I saw of that from the Res trailer, that seemed even more sort of all around you.
This is a product that's failed in the past. I'm not sure if in the UK if this is released, but I believe it was Mad Catz or some other people. There was several different like vests and stuff you could buy that supposedly had force feedback.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine the technology is going to be much.
That came out in the UK.
Yeah, and I know. And none of those sold very well at all.
Yeah, on the advert, it was like, oh, feel every punch, like, and it was like, yeah, it's not going to be that real. There's no way it's going to be that good, It's
not going to physically injure you.
Yeah, to answer your question, Rob, I don't think I'd buy a vibrating suit for Res, to be honest.
Would this game make... You've got a PS4, Tom, I know. Would this game make you buy a... like a Samsung Gear VR Oculus Rift style add-on, and how much would you pay for it if so?
Well, the PlayStation VR itself is coming out.
That would be perfect.
Yeah. Even when it comes out, depending on the price, I will be interested, but I might just take a bit of a step back and have a look at what comes out for it.
I've never actually tried one. I would have to see, I'm a guy, I don't have a very strong prescription in my glasses. But, I would have to see how it worked and see if I could use it without my glasses or... Because everything that I hear is like, if you have glasses... the VR things aren't going to work that great for you.
Just on that subject, I've used an Oculus Rift, and they do have interchangeable lenses that you can change, for your kind of... They're not prescription, but they are as near as damn it to, to what your glasses strength may be, because they ask you when you're trying it. So you can change those.
Is there a game where they slide all the different lenses in and go 1 or 2? 1, 2. 1 or 2?
I wear glasses all the time, and when I played TXK with I think it was just a standard Oculus headset, there was no real issue at all. The glasses weren't being pressed into my face or anything, and it didn't seem to affect... There weren't like blind spots in my vision where suddenly it all went fuzzy. So
no, wait, I remember I actually did try out the Virtual Boy back in the day, and it was actually Family Picture Day. And my family got super pissed at me because I was like, they had it at a display case, so I was like playing it for like it must have been 90 seconds. And when I left that thing, there was that big red mark on my forehead where the thing, like, I was looking into it. And my family was super pissed at me.
It's a good look. You've got the telltale lines of the broken dreams of the Virtual Boy.
It was one thing that really surprised me about Res VR is I just assumed it was just going to be controller based. I didn't realise it was going to be head tracking. And when I saw that you actually have to physically move your head to like aim, I was like, wow, that makes it even better. I didn't actually expect that for some reason. I keep forgetting that VR actually has like motion tracking in the actual thing.
Headset, yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, I think we're all quietly optimistic about how good this might be. I'm really looking forward to VR being the next step in gaming.
To be honest, I think this is the first like system seller for VR so far, because most of the stuff they've showed for VR has just been weird tech demos. I mean, even at that thing, they introduced the PlayStation VR and they had these two guys come on stage with this weird game where you like throw discs around and it just looked kind of broken and rubbish. They should have just gone to Res straight away and gone, well, this is the VR thing. In fact, I really hope they do a physical copy, like a retail copy of Res and bundle it with the VR. Yeah. I think that would be a bit of a system seller myself, or, VR seller.
Let's not forget that the Atari Jaguar had a promised VR headset.
Jeepers, you're really reaching any opportunity to bring up that Jaguar.
Can you imagine Club Drive in VR?
Oh God, I'd rather not.
You two could imagine you are a square car.
I don't want to imagine it not VR, let alone VR. Jesus. Right, guys, I think we've mumbled on about that enough now. So I think it's time to move on to our next point of discussion, and that is something that's very close to my heart. I'm not sure about you guys, but this week we were served with an email from Sega Europe, their legal department, asking us to withdraw the collector's guide, Dreamcast Junkyard Collector's Guide, from sale. They didn't really give a reason for this. They just asked us to because they said it wasn't an officially endorsed product. Somebody actually posted this on Reddit, and the hits to the site went absolutely mental because
really,
yeah, it's probably one of the biggest days.
I did see that someone linked to it on Reddit.
That actually might have been me who posted it to Reddit.
No, I don't think it was, because I know what you post as, and it was somebody else, and it was on the Reddit for video games and the Reddit for Dreamcast.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, no, I never post on I only post on the Reddit for Dreamcast because Reddit's a bunch of jerks who won't let me post anything on all the Reddits.
Not only that, somebody put it on the Assembler Games forum, and
thank goodness that one of the privileged few on Reddit that can actually post stuff about video games on anywhere else except for the few places that I post. Thank God one of those high and mighty people managed to post the story.
Yeah. I mean, and so it has got quite a lot of attention. And I mean, I have withdrawn the book because I don't want to get sued by Sega, because at the end of the day, I'm just me. I'm not like some kind of multinational corporation. But yeah, it's slightly disappointing, especially because, I know that Sega Legal is different from Sega PR, but like the week before, Sega PR put this all over their Twitter and they put it on the YouTube channel and Instagram, and then suddenly it was removed, and then we get this letter from.
To be honest, I think Sega Europe sharing it like that was probably what made the legal team notice it.
Yeah. I
reckon
totally
the
agree.
fact that Sega were sharing it themselves, they went, "Oh, hang on, what's this? We never heard of this," and maybe that's what piqued their interest.
Just going back to the book itself, we purposely didn't put any Sega like logos or branding on it, or the Dreamcast logo, swirl, because we didn't want to incur the wrath of Sega, which we have inadvertently. It's amazing how many kind of experts in copyright law and other subsections of law and legality kind of pop up when something like this happens. But before this email was actually sent, nobody had any issue with it. I mean, Sega themselves didn't have an issue with it. Peter Moore's got a copy. He tweeted about it.
He did, yeah.
Peter Moore actually said he thought it was really cool. I thought, if anyone knows if this is legal or like I'm breaking any kind of rules or not, it would be Peter Moore. You know what I mean? And he said, yeah, it's really cool. Thanks.
Man, that'd be a knife in the back. That'd be a knife in the back after if he sent you that tweet back and then immediately sent a note to the legal department.
Take him down, boys.
Release the hounds.
You get this website, you take them down. Take them down right now.
I just got the picture of, do you know, like Monty Burns in The Simpsons has that army of lawyers? Peter Moore just turns around and goes, "Take him down." Yes, sir.
The thing is, he's actually a scouser, and he's be like, "Take him down, like, hey." I'm pretty sure he doesn't actually talk like that, but yeah, that was my Scouse impression. Sorry if I've offended the entire city of Liverpool. But yeah, it's just a strange one. I can't really say too much about what's happening with the guide. It's not available anymore for sale, just because I've respected the email that Sega have sent, and so withdrawn it. But it's not the end of the road for the guide.
Yeah,
the guide is in, let's say, it's in stasis at the moment. It's in suspended animation, and I'll just leave it at that for now.
We all heard what Santa said at the beginning of this podcast. Like, we're old, we're all...
Oh, wait, Santa was here at the beginning, too?
Sorry, Caleb, we didn't say... Yeah, Santa arrived before you did.
Oh, actually, yeah, no. After he left something. Let me see. Oh, no, Cole again. All right.
You and Tom. Both Cole.
At least you got your coal early,
I suppose you could just go out and buy yourself a massive present.
Buy yourself a Divers 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Or a vibrating red suit.
Or both,
Or I could make my own vibrating red suit.
This is getting quite dark.
The point is, look, I'm just trying to say that, we understand, we're grown-ups, we understand copyright. Well, we don't understand it, we're experts, but we understand why copyright exists and why these legal teams exist. And
I think they have every right to ask us to stop. I personally didn't see this coming. I thought that it was clear that this wasn't an official item, but I guess legally, it's not clear enough, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, rest assured, the next version, he says with a question mark at the end, will have. It will be clearly marked that it's not produced or licensed by Sega Holdings Limited, or in any way, shape, or form official.
I like the idea of actually using the font from the start of the Dreamcast boot up and then just stick not in text.
I still want there to be a speech bubble from the Dreamcast girl just saying that like this is not an official thing.
And the point is, I think Tom, you mentioned it before, that if you were one of those lucky few who bought that first edition, then its desirability has just gone right up.
When the updated book comes out, you can actually add a little section that has a little text checkbox, original version of
That's a good idea, actually, yeah.
or something. Yeah. It's like, and put a big capital R next to it.
Yeah, I've had quite a lot of emails from people asking like how they can get one, but unfortunately there are no more left. So just watch this space, really.
Oh, okay. Funny that you mentioned the Dreamcast girl, because I used to quite often draw artwork of that character, and then a while back I sort of did a new design of like a Dreamcast mascot. That was actually kind of the reason I did it, because I'm thinking I might want to put that on T-shirts or something like that, and I thought obviously I can't use the one from the manga, so I sort of redesigned, made a new character that's based around the Dreamcast instead.
I have my 360 controller that I'm going to be finishing up soon that has your official artwork on there that you didn't actually give me permission to put on a controller, but I did anyway.
Maybe you could ask him now.
Oh, right, okay.
I'd like to see a picture of that. I didn't know you were doing that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think you've actually seen it. You've seen it before. This is the one that I had like years ago, and I just never finished it. I'm going to be doing a bunch of epoxy stuff to make it looks like it's like bleeding on the sides, and then it's going to be your like undead version of that character. Yeah.
I see. Oh, cool. Yeah, again, that was before. That was when I was drawing the character from the manga comic. But yeah.
Anyway, just to reiterate, basically that's what's happened with the guide. That's why it's not for sale anymore. And like I say, just watch this space, because we may have some news in the near future about another version. Yeah, so I think we'll leave it there. And if anyone from Sega's in the highly unlikely event that someone from Sega Europe is listening to this, I'm sorry. Please don't sue us.
They're listening just to hear. If there's anything else.
But yeah, there's no hard feelings or anything like that. So yeah, cool. Right, let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah. We still love you, Sega.
The next topic is something that is not a bone of contention, but something that I find slightly annoying. And that is that
same here.
Online, the thing about the internet is that it is kind of like the Wild West. There's no real like law, or nobody polices it really. So people have got freedom of expression, which is great, but sometimes people come up with things that are a little bit stupid, if that's the right word. Basically,
entitled.
Yes, definitely. Entitled is definitely the word I was looking for. Basically, if you're not familiar with what I'm alluding to, there is a petition going around at the moment from change.org, in which somebody, I can't remember the guy's name now, is basically demanding that, or not demanding, but offering the suggestion, that Sega of America creates a Dreamcast 2.
Not even Sega of Japan. Sega of America
creates a Dreamcast 2. So let me just run through the things that this petition is asking for.
That division of Sega that's been like cut down to next to nothing and had to move to a smaller studio.
Famously known for their hardware department.
Yeah. Wasn't Sega America responsible for the 32X? Was it the last thing they did?
Partially, I think.
Anyway, so basically this petition is asking for people to sign it because they want to petition Sega of America to create a Dreamcast 2. And these are the points that are brought up on the petition. So the new console should have a new but similar design, Wi-Fi, wireless controllers of 4, 720p or 1080p HD upscaling and HDMI output, an internal 500GB hard drive, and a GD-ROM drive. The console should be able to play original Dreamcast GD-ROMs and also have the ability to connect online to a Dreamcast Classics store to purchase and download classic Dreamcast titles in digital form, where it can be played directly from the hard drive.
He needs a whole online infrastructure, basically. They want them to create their own Steam, basically.
Wait a minute.
There's more ways.
Or, their own PlayStation network.
There's more, yeah. Apparently, by making this console made to order, there's less of a financial risk, apparently. And,
Yeah,
the petition.
I mean, just on a serious note, there's been so many like hardware, like Kickstarters and everything. It's just the vast majority of them have been colossal failures.
There was that one called the Retro VGS or whatever it's called. Did you see that? Where they actually bought the rights to the Jaguar shell.
Yeah.
And we're going to do like indie games.
And they were very honest about this is how much it's going to cost to do it. And they didn't get anywhere near that much amount of money.
No.
And by the way, the Ouya was a scam because that was like a product they were going to release anyways. And the money they got from the Kickstarter was just extra. So like that was not even them getting the money to make it. That was the thing. Like if you look at the people involved with that, they were from like companies that clearly they had the money already, and the Ouya Kickstarter was just for extra money. And the product still failed horribly because,
I'm still waiting for a Gizmondo 2.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I'm still waiting for the N-Gage 2. N-Gage 2016.
Don't get me wrong. I, more than anyone, would love to see Sega re-enter the hardware market as a producer of consoles. But this notion of being able to, you can't just click your fingers and have like a full R&D department, an online service created.
And manufacturing GD ROMs again, and like I'd imagine they probably burned down the frigging GD burners, like back in 2007 or whenever it was when the last official retail Dreamcast game came out. I think they actually like scrapped everything so no one can make GD ROMs.
These guys, they don't understand the scale of operation that was required to produce all of Sega's consoles, specifically the Dreamcast. And they also don't understand just what... I mean, I don't want to stick it to Sega, but just what a shadow of their former selves they are right now. They have none of the manufacturing bases. They have none of the infrastructure.
They barely have software publishing skills anymore. I mean, like with Yakuza, they had to get people to beg Sony to bring them over because Sega couldn't be bothered. And there's just loads of stuff that they just don't really even bring over. There's so many like Sega games that come out in Japan that we never get, like Puyo and all that kind of stuff. They just don't bother.
I think the thing that it doesn't, I wouldn't say it enrages me, but it annoys me the most is like, look, this is not like I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody who's done this, but people constantly like send me emails saying, "Have you seen this petition?" Or they put it on my Facebook page, or Facebook wall, or tweet me, "Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this?"
This petition's been around for ages.
Yeah.
This petition's been around for ages, and recently it's popped up on loads of different like news websites as if it's a thing that's worth paying attention to.
Yeah, I mean, look, these are the facts, right? The thing has got, I'm pretty sure at the time that we're recording this, it's got about 22,000 signatures on it. Now, if it had 22 million signatures on it, then you could think, right, 22,000 is nothing.
It's peanuts.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It really isn't.
And it's fine to sign up for it, but it's just keep a little bit of common sense and, live in reality. There's a lot of people that say, oh, well, with emulators and whatnot. And it's like, well, yeah, with emulators and whatnot, we can have I don't know if you guys have it in the UK, but we have the new version of the Sega Genesis where can actually play the old Sega Genesis games. And it's like, it's very expensive for a very, very cheaply made product, and it's not
sound emulation.
Yeah, and it's not that great of a product. But I mean, I think maybe some people see that and they're like, "Well, can't you do that?" It's like, well, yeah, but they're selling those on all these secondary markets and stuff, and this is a third party that basically got the license to do this.
And the reason those things exist is basically someone designed a Mega Drive on a chip, so it's really cheap to make this little emulated Mega Drive chip.
Even though there are Dreamcast emulators, the hardware that needs to run a Dreamcast emulator, it's not like the hardware that you need to run one of those and have it run well. I mean, it's just
hardest part is the discs because you can't run GD ROMs on anything but development kits or actual Dreamcast. You can't just buy a drive that will work in a PC. You can't run GD ROMs on a PC, so it's not as simple as just sticking a disc in and it works.
I mean, it's like I say, it's a nice idea, and don't get me wrong, if it was even slightly possible, I'd back it to the hill. Obviously, of course I would, but it's just a dream. It's complete, and people who are actually getting confused between reality and what is a fact is fantasy. That's what annoys me. People are just going, "Ooh, Sega, make this thing, we'll buy it," but it's like, what? How do we? What are we talking about?
You won't lose any money whatsoever.
Yeah.
Think about the years.
Well, no, you can in fact make a thing. It's not possible at this point to make this
That's
thing.
the point, right? I think this makes me feel sad. Actually, I can understand why it makes Tom feel angry, and sometimes it makes me feel angry. But it makes me feel sad because I think these things, and it's not just this one. It's for all these sort of petitions you see. They come from a position of love, essentially, and the problem is though, you can't bring it back. It's like when somebody dies, you can't bring them back. It's like it worked 10 years ago. It's what you just said. It's like it won't work now. It worked. Well, it didn't work then. It barely worked in the first place, and it certainly won't work now. And it's just really sad. I understand. I'm with you, Tom. I would buy one of these machines, but it's not financially viable.
I personally think 10 years down the road, when software catches up to everything, I think you would easily be able to buy like an emulated thing that looks a lot like, but you'd be able to run it on another piece of hardware. I don't think people are going to invest a lot of money. And again, maybe eventually the software will be cheap enough for people to be able to buy, like but again, it's the GD-ROM reader and stuff,
That's the worst part. That's the hardest part.
Just one thing I wanted to say as well is that, there are emulation devices out there. There's things like the JXD, which can run Dreamcast ROMs to a certain degree. They're not great, and they are in no way playable. It's in some cases. It's not 100% emulation, accuracy. But yeah, as Caleb said, maybe maybe in 10 years' time, when like technology is at a stage where it's so much more ahead of what we've got now, that a chip, chip on a PCB can emulate a Dreamcast and a PS3 and everything else that you throw at it. But as it stands now, I just think it's a nice dream, don't get me wrong, but it is literally just the dream. And demanding this and having this kind of this air of entitlement.
It's not helpful.
A petition with 20,000 signatures on, it's going to get it.
The closest thing, what they should really be asking for, rather than this, is for them to just continue porting Dreamcast games to the current digital services that exist. I mean, they started doing it. They started doing stuff like Jet Set Radio, Sonic Adventure, all that kind of stuff.
I agree.
They just need to do more of that, I think. I think that's the closest you're going to get, to that whole idea of having a Dreamcast Classics store. Just put out loads of Dreamcast games that they can,
You're right.
Obviously, just the first-party ones that they have rights to.
Why on earth would you build an entire another hardware platform when your core remaining strength is the software, and there already exists bountiful hardware platforms that can play that software? You'd be mental to create another piece of hardware.
But Rob, it's they're making them to order, so there's no financial risk.
People don't understand how.
A digital download store for people that need mail order this system.
Exactly.
Yes.
I personally didn't see Grandia 2 coming to Steam. That's something I thought was never going to happen.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Stuff like that's going to eventually come back. The companies are going to go, oh, look, these games, we've got the code for it, we might as well put them out so people can play them again.
SNK, they've done, it's 25 years anniversary, I think, and they've just done some humble bundle.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
Exactly,
that.
And loads of people have got them.
Including some that are classics on Dreamcast, like Mark of the Wolves.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, ultimately, I just want to say, I can see the comments and everything now. I just want to reiterate once again, I'm not like slagging anybody off personally. I just think it's a pipe dream. Do you know what I mean? I'd love it to be actually feasible, but it's not.
It's like, I think it's cool if you want to sign up for it. We're not saying anybody shouldn't sign up for it. It's just, it would be nice if it was like, if it was worded in any sort of way that made it seem like it's possible that this could happen, rather than this it's really like pie in the sky type stuff. That's it's to the point of ridiculousness.
Everyone thought Shenmue 3 was a pie in the sky thing, and that worked. People petitioned that for years, and Yu Suzuki backstage was going, well, loads of people were asking for it. We will find a way to do it, and sure enough, all that give you Yu Suzuki the license Sega stuff actually worked out, because Sega did exactly that. They gave Yu Suzuki the license to make the game. That's obviously a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, the sense of scale we're talking about here
at the time, that looks
it's night and day. Shenmue 3 is a game. This is a whole new hardware platform.
Yeah,
exactly. It's what I was just saying. It's a piece of software, and let's not forget that everything lined up perfectly for Shenmue 3. Sega just went, here you are. Suzuki, do what you like, take the rights. Sony then went, yeah, we'll back you. Here, have this dump truck load of money. Then Kickstarter. They had a successful Kickstarter campaign. Loads of people gave him loads of money. You know what I mean? And it's just one piece of software that's running on a modern piece of hardware. It is night and day difference to what this petition is asking for.
Sony's like, hey, we only have like 3 games that are good for our systems. Like, we need to before anybody finally catches on, we need to let people know that there's something unique coming.
Anyway, guys, I think we've chatted enough about that. Again, I just want to reiterate: please don't take it to heart if you are a particularly passionate supporter of this petition. It's not intended. We'd love it more than anyone for that to be true, but it's just not capable. Yeah. Anyway, we'll draw a line under that one now, guys. I think we've actually been chatting for quite a while now, so I think it's about time we drew this ever so slightly festive episode to a close. Yeah, unless there's anything else that anybody else... I mean, if Santa's there, if he wants to add anything else?
No, I think he's gone. I chased him away. Oh my God! There is reindeer poop all over my lawn. All over. It's everywhere.
That's a disgrace.
Oh.
Have you seen that thing where NORAD does that tracking of Santa every Christmas?
I have. Yes.
Yeah, you know NORAD, the North American Defense thing, whatever it is. Yeah, they do a thing on Google where you can type it in and it shows where they're tracking Santa across the sky.
So if it was needed, they could easily send rockets towards him at any point if needed.
Scrambling jets against Santa,
just in case.
Anyway, right. Well, that'll probably do it for episode 21 of the Dreamcast Junkyard DreamPod. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Dreamcast Junkyard. We also have a group, which is Groups, the Dreamcast Junkyard. And we have our main site, which is www.thedreamcastjunkyard.co.uk. 10 years old this month in December 2015. We are also all on Twitter. Well, the Dreamcast Junkyard is on Twitter at Sega Junkyard. And we're on Twitter individually. Rob, you're on Twitter at...
Nicholas J.
Aaron, you are on Twitter at...
The Gagaman and Lucky Hit Series.
Caleb, you're on YouTube at...
I'm on YouTube at Blandco. Blandco.
And I'm on Twitter at Tom Lee C. And all it remains for us to say is we hope you have a fantastic Christmas and a great New Year, and we'll be back soon. If anyone sends you an email asking you to sign a petition for a Dreamcast 2, probably ignore it. Or sign it, just for the hell of it. Yeah, thanks very much for listening, and we'd like to say, thanks for supporting us in 2015.
Can we say very Dreamcasters? Does that work?
I'm not sure that works, to be honest, Rob. I'm not going to lie to you. But thanks very much for listening and supporting us in 2015. We'll be back in 2016 for even more of this kind of crap. So, we hope you have a good Christmas, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Merry Dreamcast! What the fuck was that? Dreamcast Christmas?
Please stop this disc now.